Good morning to one and all. This is Dr. Vijay Kumar, working as an assistant professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering from St. Peter's Engineering College, Hyderabad. Today I am going to discuss about the uh, Indian energy scenario. It is from Unit 1 of Renewable Energy Sources subject. Actually, last video we discussed about the energy scenario. Actually, the importance of the energy. Energy is nothing but any physical activity in this world, whether carried out by human being or by nature, is caused due to flow of energy in the one form or the other. So means the work output mainly depends on the energy input. So energy is one of the major input for the economic development of any country. In the case of the developing countries, the energy sector assumes a critical importance in view of the ever increasing energy needs requiring huge investments to meet them. So let us discuss about the Indian energy scenario for concept. The coal dominates the energy mix in India, contributing to 50% of the total primary energy, primary energy production. Over the years, there has been a marked increase in the share of natural gas in primary energy production from 10% in 1994 to 13% in 1999. There has been a decline in the share of oil in primary energy production from 20% to 17% during the same period. So we know the in India the energy supplies are coal supply, reserves production ratio, oil supply, natural gas supply, electrical energy supply, nuclear power supply, no, hydro power supply, etc. Let us discuss about the one by one coal supply. Coal supply India has huge coal reserves at least 84,000. Yes, sorry for the interruption. So the energy supplies are in India. Energy supplies are coal supply and oil supply, natural gas supply, electrical energy supply, nuclear power supply, and hydro power supply, etc. Let us discuss about one by one. Coal supply in India has huge coal reserves, at least 84,396 million tons of proven recoverable reserves at the available at the end of the 2003, because these amounts to almost 8.6% of the world reserves, and it may last for about 230 years at the current reserve to production ratio. In contrast, the world's proven coal reserves are expected to last only for 192 years at the current reserve to production ratio. In the reserves to production ratio point of view, if the reserves remaining at the end of the year are divided by the production in that year, the result is the length of time that the remaining reserves would last if production were to continue at that level. India is the fourth largest producer of coal and lignite in the world. Coal production is concentrated in the states in India: Telangana state, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Orissa, Jharkhand, and West Bengal. And now coming to oil supply, oil accounts for about 36% of India's total energy consumption. India today is one of the top 10 oil guzzling nations in the world and will soon overtake Korea as the third largest consumer of oil in Asia after China and Japan. But India imports 70% of its crude needs mainly from Gulf nations. The majority of India's roughly 5.4 billion barrels in reserves are located in the Bombay High, Upper Assam, uh, Kambe, Krishna Godavari. In terms of sector-wise, petroleum product consumption transport accounts for 42%, followed by domestic and industry with the 24% respectively. India spent more than 110,000 crore an oil imports at the end of 2004. Now coming to so that's why we are uh, we are importing the oil from the Gulf nations. So we need search for an alternate fuel uh, for IC engines and transportations. Now coming to natural gas supply, natural gas accounts for about 8.9% of energy consumption in the country. The current demand for natural gas is about 96 million cubic meters per day, as against availability of 67 million cubic meters per day by 2007. The demand is expected to be around 200 million cubic meters per day. Natural gas reserves are estimated at 660 billion cubic meters. And now coming to electrical energy supply, the All India installed capacity of electrical power generating stations under utilities was 1,12,581 megawatts as on 31st May 2004, consisting of 28,860 megawatts hydro, 77,931 megawatts thermal, and 2,720 megawatts nuclear, and 1,869 megawatts wind. Now coming to nuclear power supply. Nuclear power contributes to about 2.4% of electricity generated in India. India has 10 nuclear power reactors at 5 nuclear power stations producing electricity. More nuclear reactors have also been approved for construction. Now, coming to hydropower supply, India is endowed with a vast and viable hydro potential for power generation, of which only 15% has been harnessed so far. The share of hydropower in the country's total generated units has steadily decreased, and it presently stands at 25% as on 31st May 2004. It is assessed that exploitable potential at 60% load factor is 84,000 megawatts. Now coming to sector-wise energy consumption in India, the major commercial energy consuming sectors in the country are classified as shown in this figure. As seen from the figure, industry remains the biggest consumer of commercial energy, and its share in the overall consumption is 49%. And residential 10%, transport 22%, agriculture 5%, and the others are 14%. Now coming to global climatic change, human activities, particularly the combustion of fossil fuels, have made the blanket of greenhouse gases like water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, ozone, etc. are around the Earth thicker. The resulting increase in global temperature is altering the complex web of systems that allow life to thrive on Earth, such as rainfall, wind patterns, ocean current, and the distribution of plant and animal species. Now coming to greenhouse effect, greenhouse effect and the carbon cycle. Life on Earth is made possible by energy from the sun, which arrives mainly in the form of visible light. About 30% of the sunlight is scattered back into space by outer atmosphere, and the balance 70% reaches the Earth's surface, which reflects it in form of infrared radiation. The escape of slow-moving infrared radiation is delayed by the greenhouse gases. A thicker blanket of greenhouse gases traps more infrared radiation and increase the Earth's temperature. And the greenhouse gases make up only 1% of the atmosphere, but they act as a blanket around the Earth, or like a glass roof of a greenhouse, and keep the Earth 30 degrees warmer than it would be otherwise. Without greenhouse gases, Earth would be too cold to live. Human activities that are responsible for making the greenhouse layer thicker are emissions of carbon dioxide from the combustion of coal, oil, and natural gas, by additional methane and nitrous oxide from farming activities and changes in land use, and by several man-made gases that have a long life in the atmosphere. And the increasing in greenhouse gases is happening at an alarming rate. If greenhouse gases emissions continue to grow at current rates, it is almost certain that the atmospheric levels of carbon dioxide will increase twice or thrice from pre-industrial levels during the 21st century. Even a small increase in Earth's temperature will be accompanied by changes in climate, such as cloud cover, precipitation, wind patterns, and duration of seasons. In an already highly crowded and stressed Earth, millions of people depend on weather patterns such as monsoon rains to continue as they have in the past. Even minimum changes will be disruptive and difficult. But the carbon dioxide is responsible for 60% of the enhanced greenhouse effect. Humans are burning coal, oil, and natural gas at a rate that is much faster than the rate at which these fossil fuels were created. This is releasing the carbon stored in the fuels into the atmosphere and upsetting the carbon cycle. A, means a precise balanced system by which carbon is exchanged between the air, the oceans, and the land vegetations taking place over millions of years. Currently, carbon dioxide levels in the atmospheric are rising by over 10% for every 20 years. Thank you, Ananda.